Claude Speed from GTA 3 versus Niko Bellic from GTA 4. And honestly, I'm giving Claude the slight edge here, and let me tell you why this silent maniac is genuinely terrifying. Let's talk about Claude for a minute, because this dude is genuinely built different. Think about it. Throughout the entire game, this man doesn't say a single word. Not one. He's dealing with the most chaotic situations in Liberty City, getting betrayed left and right, watching his girlfriend literally try to kill him, and his response is just silence. That's not normal behavior. That's straight-up psychopath energy. What makes Claude so dangerous against Nico isn't just his ruthlessness, it's his complete unpredictability. Nico's a war veteran, sure, but war has rules, even brutal ones. Claude operates with zero rules, zero conscience, and zero hesitation. This man will blow up an entire construction site just to send a message, and he'll do it with the same emotional investment as ordering a coffee. Nico's biggest weakness is that he still has humanity left in him. He questions his choices. He feels guilt about his past. He has moments where you can see the weight of everything he's done crushing him. That's actually a liability when you're facing someone like Claude. Claude's silence isn't just creepy for the players. Imagine how unsettling that would be for Nico. You're trying to read this guy, figure out his next move, maybe even reason with him, and he just stares at you with those dead eyes and says absolutely nothing. That's the kind of psychological warfare that would genuinely mess with Nico's head. Don't get me wrong, Nico's military background is no joke. The man survived actual warfare in Yugoslavia, and that kind of experience teaches you things about survival and combat that street fighting never could. But here's the thing. Claude's not just a street fighter. He's a methodical elimination machine. Claude approaches every situation like a chess game where all the pieces are explosives. He doesn't get emotional, he doesn't get rattled, and he definitely doesn't second-guess himself. While Nico might hesitate for just a split second thinking about whether this is really worth it, or remembering some trauma from his past, Claude's already 3 steps ahead, planning the most efficient way to end you. Nico still has a soul somewhere buried under all that trauma. Claude sold his to the streets of Liberty City a long time ago, and that's exactly why he's got the edge in this matchup. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room isn't the strongest or the most skilled. It's the one who genuinely has nothing left to lose and feels nothing about taking everything from you. What do you think? Am I giving Claude too much credit? Or is the silent treatment really that powerful? Now let's talk about Tommy Vercetti from Vice City. And honestly, this is where things get really spicy, because I'm actually giving Tommy the slight edge here. Yeah, you heard that right. Tommy might just be the one guy who could actually take down Nico, and it's not even close when you really think about it. Tommy's not just some street thug who got lucky. This man has been in the game for decades by the time we meet him in Vice City. He literally survived 15 years in prison and came out even more dangerous than when he went in. But here's the kicker that everyone forgets. During his rise to power in Vice City, Tommy survived an ambush by 12 professional assassins. 12. And he didn't just survive, he eliminated every single one of them while they had the element of surprise. That's not luck. That's not just being tough. That's being an absolute killing machine with the kind of experience that makes even war veterans take notice. While Nico was dealing with organized military conflicts, where there are at least some rules and structure, Tommy was navigating the completely chaotic world of 1980s drug cartels, where literally anyone could be trying to kill you at any moment. The thing about Tommy is that he's got this perfect combination of street smarts, business acumen, and pure ruthless violence that's been refined over decades. Nico's dangerous because of his military training, but Tommy's dangerous because he's been playing the long game in criminal empires since before Nico even picked up a gun. Tommy knows how to read people, how to manipulate situations, and most importantly, how to stay alive when everyone wants you dead. Plus, let's keep it real. Tommy built an entire criminal empire from literally nothing in a matter of months while dealing with corrupt cops, rival gangs, and federal investigations all at the same time. That takes a special kind of intelligence and survival instinct that goes way beyond just being good in a firefight. Tommy's not just a survivor. He's an apex predator who's been perfecting his craft for years. Now let's switch it up and talk about Carl Johnson from San Andreas. And this is where Nico definitely takes the W. Don't get me wrong, CJ's got skills. This man can fly jets, bulk up to become an absolute unit, and handle pretty much any vehicle you throw at him. But when it comes to a straight fight with Nico, CJ's getting bodied, and here's why. The biggest problem with CJ is that he's way too predictable. Everything he does is driven by family loyalty and protecting Grove Street, which sounds noble until you realize that makes him incredibly easy to read. Nico's dealt with people who have clear motivations before, and he knows exactly how to exploit that. CJ is going to telegraph every move because he fights with his heart, not his head. CJ started the game as basically a civilian who got dragged back into gang life. Yeah, he adapted quickly and became dangerous, but there's a huge difference between gang warfare and actual military combat experience. CJ learned to be tough on the streets of Los Santos, but Nico learned to kill in an actual war zone where hesitation meant death. The thing that really seals it for Nico is that CJ's honestly too soft when it really matters. This dude still cares about doing the right thing, still has moments where he questions whether violence is the answer, still tries to reason with people instead of just eliminating threats. That's admirable in real life, but it's a massive liability when you're facing someone like Nico who's already made peace with being a monster. When Nico's locked in, he's operating on a completely different level of coldness that CJ just can't match. CJ fights for his family and his neighborhood, but Nico fights like a man who's already dead inside and has nothing left to lose. That psychological difference is what gives Nico the clear advantage here. Now let's talk about Michael DeSanta from GTA 5, and this one's actually closer than you might think. But Nico's still taking the win by a slim margin. Michael's definitely not a pushover. This dude was pulling off major heists back in the day and has that tactical mind that makes him dangerous in the right circumstances. But here's where it gets tricky for him against someone like Nico. Michael's biggest strength is also his biggest weakness when facing Nico. He's way too much of a planner. This man wants to strategize everything, set up the perfect scenario, and control all the variables before making a move. That works great when you're planning a bank robbery or a jewelry store heist, but it's not gonna fly when you're dealing with someone as unpredictable and direct as Nico. The harsh reality is that Michael's gotten soft over the years. Yeah, he can still handle himself when the situation calls for it. But let's be honest. Throughout most of GTA 5, this man is getting bailed out by Franklin and Trevor, more often than he's handling his own problems. That's not the same energy as someone like Nico, who's been grinding through life or death situations completely solo. Michael's tactical approach might give him some advantages in the planning phase, but once things go sideways, and they always go sideways with Nico, Michael's going to struggle. Nico doesn't need perfect conditions or backup plans, he just needs an opening and the willingness to take it no matter how brutal it gets. The age factor is real too. Michael's been living that suburban dad life for years while Nico's been staying sharp on the streets of Liberty City. When push comes to shove, Nico's got that raw desperation and nothing-to-lose mentality that's going to overpower Michael's more calculated but comfortable approach to violence. Franklin Clinton is up next, and honestly, this isn't even a fair fight. Nico's taking this one easy, and it's not really Franklin's fault. He's just way too much of a rookie when you compare him to someone with Nico's experience. Franklin's got some serious advantages, don't get me wrong. His driving skills are absolutely insane and his reflexes are on point. But that's not enough to carry him against a seasoned killer like Nico. The thing about Franklin is that he's still learning the game when we meet him in GTA 5. Yeah, he's hungry and motivated, but he's basically a street-level hustler who got thrown into the big leagues because he happened to know the right people at the right time. Compare that to Nico, who's been through actual war, survived betrayals that would break most people, and has been operating at the highest levels of violence for years. His special driving ability is sick. But what happens when you take away the cars and it's just straight hands? His phone and connections are useful, but Nico's been handling business since before smartphones existed. Strip away all the modern conveniences, and Franklin's back to being a talented but inexperienced kid from the hood. Don't get it twisted. Franklin's definitely got potential, and he's proved he can hang with some dangerous people. But potential doesn't beat experience when your life is on the line. Nico's dealt with people who had all of Franklin's advantages and more, and he's still here while they're not. Franklin might surprise Nico once or twice with his quick thinking, but in a prolonged conflict, that veteran instinct and cold brutality is going to win out every time. And finally, we get to Trevor Phillips, and this is where Nico finally meets his match. Actually, scratch that. This is where Nico gets absolutely demolished. Trevor's taking this one easy, and it's not even going to be close. If you thought Claude was unpredictable, Trevor is that energy multiplied by 10 with a side of complete mental breakdown. Here's the thing about Trevor that makes him so dangerous against someone like Nico. This type of unhinged violence isn't just something Trevor does, it's literally his default mode. While other protagonists have to get psyched up or pushed to their breaking point, Trevor wakes up every morning ready to commit war crimes for fun. Nico's got military training and war experience, but Trevor's got something way more terrifying. He genuinely enjoys the chaos. The biggest advantage Trevor has is that he operates on a level of crazy that even Nico can't predict or prepare for. Nico's used to dealing with calculated killers, desperate criminals, and even psychopaths. But Trevor is something else entirely. This man will blow up a meth lab just because he's bored, torture people for information he doesn't even need, and start fights with biker gangs just to see what happens. What really seals the deal is that Trevor has zero self-preservation instincts, which is actually a massive advantage in a fight to the death. Nico still has some survival instinct buried under all that trauma, but Trevor genuinely doesn't care if he lives or dies as long as he takes you down with him. That's the kind of reckless abandon that wins fights because there's literally no line he won't cross. Nico's military experience is impressive, but Trevor's been living in active combat mode his entire adult life. While Nico had periods of normal life between conflicts, Trevor's been in a constant state of warfare with the entire world since day one. That's just a different level of conditioning that even war veterans struggle to match. And we are done. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this list? Do you feel any protagonist got wrong verdict? Please let me know in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.